I want to offer a prayer of gratefulness for people like Pastor David who do tireless work in our communities, people we know that we lifted up as inspirations. I'm just grateful for the 33 years of presence that David had offered here in Northern Colorado. And I know his community at Abyssinian is worshiping this morning. And so I just want to invite us to send them vibes of appreciation for the ways they have stood steadfast in this community. As you kind of sit with this conversation, I invite you, if there's one part that kind of stuck in your heart or in your mind, to add that to the chat. Sometimes it's helpful to hear and see what other people got out of the conversation. What what are those places of challenge, of wrestling? And sometimes it helps us too, as we encountered something like that, to really think like what's really sticking out for me? What am I sitting with? As you're maybe thinking about that, I want to offer a prayer. Spirit of life and love, we stumble through in such human ways, caught off guard again and again by the confounding realities of life, by all the times we say goodbye and a piece of us is ripped away, by all the grief we carry in our hearts without noticing the weight on our shoulders, on our hearts, by all the moments of beauty, of full body bliss that is sprinkled throughout. Life doesn't often make sense, and we're surprised by this. Often it can't be made sense of, and yet we still have to stumble through. Spirit of life, free us from the pursuits of those silver bullets, potions, purchases, promotions that we convince ourselves will suddenly make it all okay, make it all make sense, make the way suddenly clear and straightforward, for we know there is no such thing. Free us from those delusions that there is another life to live that avoids pain, avoids struggle. There is no other life. This is life. This beautifully broken world, the one world we've got, this reality, all of it is life. Spirit of love, help us resist that relabeling of one another that David spoke about, where we help us to no longer say, "You're only my neighbor if you agree with me. You're only my friend if you agree with me. That I see you as kin worthy of love and belonging only if you agree with me." For if we are truthful, we confess that this relabeling is not only taking places in the currents of the news, in the collective unconscious of certain people, other people. We confess that this happens not just out there, but in here too, in each of us, when we speak as though our words contain total truth. When it was easy to see our neighbor as a neighbor when they were white too. That it was easy to see our friend who disagreed with us as kins when the stakes and the gravity of the suffering didn't seem too stark, so real, or so close to home. That it was easier to resist the rhetoric of "you're with us or against us" when the world didn't feel like a "you're with us or against us" type world. Spirit of life, remind me every time I meet another person that there is belovedness, a spark of love, of original blessing, a piece of the truth contained within them and their life. Help us to seek that out, to be curious rather than simply being right or trying to win arguments. May the work of our hands, the words of our mouths, the movements of our hearts be the work of mending and not tearing. Spirit of life, our call in this world is to be menders. That when our words scorn one another, causing them to feel lesser than, we attend and we mend. That when our actions or inactions cause pain with or without intent, we attend and mend. That when we find ourselves dealing in absolutes without a capacity to listen or care, we must attend and mend to the hurt within us. We are called to mend, to be menders, and to love the hell out of this world one moment at a time. Amen. And blessed be.